We are in the studio with Katie Bell, Dr. Katie Bell, I suppose I should say. Katie is a veterinarian. You're based out of Charlotte County, is that correct?
I'm based out of St. John.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh.
I worked in Charlotte County for a few years, but I am back in St. John now, which is where I'm from, and I'm based out of here.
I'm clearly behind the times.
Yeah, geez, catch up with my life.
Sorry. And you are a mobile vet. You are the mobile veterinarian,
Wow.
according to my run sheet.
Well, what I've recently done is I started a mobile only, like a house call only veterinary practice.
Yeah.
Most of the clinics are able to provide a little bit of at-home stuff if it's requested, but it can just be a little bit harder to work into their schedules because they're also seeing clients in their clinics
Sure.
at the same time.
Sure.
So for me, I'm available to do house visits all the time. So everybody who needs their pets seen for things that don't need to be seen in a clinic, I can do it in their home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if somebody needs an x-ray because their dog broke a paw or
Yes.
something along, the diagnostic stuff, you'd still want them to come in. But
Absolutely. I would want people who need x-rays to go to a clinic. But blood work and things like that, I can do that in home as well. I can collect blood and take it to the lab and everything. So, yeah.
Sure. So what kind of a situation would someone be in where they would want to book a mobile visit?
There is a multitude of really good reasons for it. There's sort of like a big list that I can give you a few of the top ones for sure.
Sure. Well, we've got some time to fill, so.
So people who don't have a way to get places or have difficulty getting places.
Sure.
So people with mobility issues or who don't drive or things like that.
Right.
Animals with mobility issues as well. Like a lot of dogs that have arthritis and stuff like that have trouble getting in and out of the car as they get older.
Sure.
Also, there's a lot of animals, particularly cats, but animals in general that really hate cars or really hate going to vet clinics. So
Sure.
they get very fractious, they can't be handled very well, and so those animals tend to do a lot better if you can just come into their home and make it
Sure.
a lot less stressful for them. Also, there's cases where it's actually just a little bit more convenient for people. Say they have like multiple pets, so
Yeah.
anytime they need to go to the clinic, they're trying to like put 6 cats in carriers and bring them all in. Or they have multiple children at home, so they'd have to like bring all their kids to the vet with them, things like that. And probably the most commonly thought of reason that people will do it is if they want to have like an at-home euthanasia. So
Yeah.
they'd rather have their goodbyes occur at home. They don't have to bring the animal to the clinic for the last ride and all that kind of thing. And, we can do it right in the comfort of a living room or a backyard under a favorite tree or,
Sure.
it can be really quite a peaceful setting for them.
That's a lot less stressful for the family and for the pet.
Yeah, exactly. So there's sort of like basically what I'm hoping is to get people who would normally not see a vet at all able to see a vet.
Right.
And also make it more convenient for other people who just might want to have it, just might want it that way.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I have a normal size car, but in the middle of the back seat is a child seat, and I have a
Yeah.
large breed dog. So
Yes.
for me to get the dog to the vet, I have to take the child seat out of the car, which
Yeah.
it's not a huge hassle, but if I
No.
didn't have to do it, I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. If you can avoid some of these inconveniences, then it can make it more likely that you're actually going to have your pet seen. Because that I've already seen quite a few people who say like, I've been putting this off for X amount of time
Sure.
just because I didn't want to deal with whatever obstacle, and just having me go right there just makes things a lot easier for them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Do you work out of a clinic as well, or is this your shtick?
This is my shtick. So I work with all of the clinics. Like
Right.
they've been really great. I've reached out to all the clinics to let them know what I'm doing and tell them like how I can help them and how I want to work with all of them. I do have the backing of Cannon Animal Hospital in case I
Okay.
need anything like directly from a clinic.
They're in Milledgeville?
They're in Milledgeville, yep. And they've been so great for being sort of like a support through me, like creating a new business and all that kind of thing. So that's been wonderful, but I don't do any work in a clinic. I do all of my work in people's homes.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like it.
Have you been surprised by the response?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like it's been great. I was hoping that it would take off really well, and before I even planned on starting to see things, I had people requesting to be seen before my official launch
Sure.
date. So yeah, it's been going really well. People are really catching on to the idea, I think, and I think the biggest thing is getting the word out there because
Sure.
a lot of people don't realize that it's an option. And so
Yeah.
I think once they know, then it's really relieving for a lot of people. It allows them to get their pets seen when maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. So,
Well, sure. And
yeah.
you've been a veterinarian for about the better part of half a decade, right?
About 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a vet for 4 years. So me and my husband are both vets. He works at Cannon Animal Hospital, and we used to work together down in Charlotte County. But now we're here, and we've both been vets for 4 years. And so starting to get the hang of it.
So you had worked out of a clinic for a couple of years, or a few years, I guess I should say. What prompted you to go out on your own and want to do the house call thing?
Well, I was not the biggest fan of working in a clinic. There's a lot of virtues to it, but I personally thrive more on getting to spend time with people and have conversations with them, that I'm not trying to like see several things in a day, like not trying to see 20 appointments in a day, so that you don't get to spend that like kind of one-on-one time talking with people. There was one day a month at my previous job where I used to go and do house calls all day. It was in Graham and Ann, actually. And I looked forward to those days every month, because it was my chance to like spend more time with people and be out on the road and kind of focus on one person at a time. Like in a clinic, you're balancing all these different appointments all at once a lot of the time. Like you're starting one, and then while you're doing one thing for one, you're starting another. And I really like being able to like focus and sit down and talk to people and get to know their pet and get to know them. And anyway, so I recognized my enjoyment of that kind of scene. And during my maternity leave, I was on maternity leave for until September. I have a 1-year-old now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's the best. And
Mine's the best.
oh, yours is the best, right?
Yours can be the second best.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Someday we'll pit them against each other. Anyway, during my maternity leave, I tried to think of a way that I could potentially practice vet medicine in a way that was more to my personality, and also have a little bit more of an ability to control the amount of time I got to spend with my daughter. So this way, owning my own business, like I'm probably doing just as much work, if not more. I'd say probably more, but at least I can control when I'm working, and I can be home with her more and like do some work when I'm at home with her and stuff. So it gives me a lot more freedom, and I'm also practicing vet medicine in a way that I think is really beneficial to people and animals and makes me much happier. So
yeah, it sounds like a really interesting concept, and I'm glad that it's working out for you.
Yeah.
A question I just thought of while you were talking. You know, you said you get to go into people's homes, you get to spend a little bit more time with them, you get to know sort of their pet and their environment.
Yeah.
Have there been instances, or would you anticipate there'd be instances where you could sort of assess a pet's environment, and somebody might say, well, my dog's been doing blah, 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 and then you can sort of look at their environment and say, well, that's probably because...
Yeah, well, I mean, that's some kind of like behavior talk, and we certainly can do that in appointments. But the other thing that's like sort of relevant to what you're saying is that it's really nice to see an animal in their environment, because an animal is not necessarily going to behave the same at a vet clinic as they would at home. So it gives me a little bit of like a window into like what their life is like and what their setup in their home is like. And like you say, I may be able to tip me off, especially like, you know, with cats. Like a lot of the time we have cats with like issues with like inappropriate urination and stuff like that. And sometimes, you know, I might go into somebody's house and see like where they have their litter boxes and how they have them set up and all that kind of thing, and be able to kind of help troubleshoot that kind of scenario with them. So seeing an animal in its environment is a different ballgame. You get a whole different kind of window into what their environment might be doing in terms of playing a role in their behavior or their wellness or anything like that. Yeah.
Has it added any surprising challenges to the job?
Well, having done it in my previous job, I kind of knew the types of challenges that I would see, but there are definitely some challenges to it. Like, you know, if you're dealing with an animal that's particularly set on getting away from you, they have a lot more places to go in their home than they do in a clinic. So I do tend to try to tell people ahead of time to have an area like where they can't try and run off and go hide under a couch or something like that, so that we have a better chance of examining them. But there's animals that I've seen already that I know wouldn't have even been able to be seen if their only option was a clinic, just due to their temperament and stuff like that. So we deal with some animals with some pretty some pretty difficult times being handled by people, but we are equipped to handle that and try to make things, it's the least stressful way to do it if it has to be done, kind of thing.
And do you have like a vet tech with you, or is it just?
Yeah, especially when I know that I'm going to be dealing with an animal that has a little bit more trouble being handled, then I make sure to schedule that on days when I have a technician with me. I don't always have her, but I kind of like schedule days where I know I'll be dealing with animals that I need her for, and then it just kind of helps make things the least stressful for the animal as possible, which is my top priority.
Well, that should be the goal, right?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's healthcare.
Yeah.
How do people find out more about you?
A few different ways. I have an Instagram feed that I take pictures of clients and doors and all these and animals, and it's beautiful. It's really fun. It was my husband's idea how I'm laying it out, and I really enjoy it. I also have a Facebook page. I'm called Seaside Home Veterinary Care. Website, www.seasidehomeveterinarycare.com. I have an
Which
email
is up on the screen, I think.
I got an
Is that
email
on the screen?
address.
Yeah, it's on the screen.
You can call me as well. Leave me a message me on Facebook. Got pretty much every way you can think of to contact me, you can contact me.
And is that how someone books an appointment, and they send you an email? Hey, I'd like to see you.
I can do it over digital media. Like I can book stuff through email, Facebook messaging, etc., texting even, or phone calls. I can do it however people are most comfortable. I find there's quite a variety. Some people really just like the phone contact. Some people are like, oh my gosh, I can multitask and make an appointment online. This is so much easier. So yeah, I get back to all the inquiries as quickly as I can. So yeah.
That's excellent. I mean, it's pretty rare where you would actually contact a veterinarian and get to talk to the veterinarian.
Yeah, and I do want to create that accessibility for people. I think it's going to be too difficult for me to manage being the one answering the phone all the time.
Probably.
However, I do want there to be that availability, like if they need me to call them back, then I will, et cetera, kind of thing. So yeah, I want there to be a very personal feeling to how all this is done, and that's a top priority for me for sure too.
I think it's really good.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot for coming in to talk to us about this, and I wish you
me.
all the best as you grow and add more of everything.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
We'll be back after the break with the St. John Astronomy Club. We're going to talk about, I thought it was the St. John Photography Club. I'm sorry, I lied to all of you off the top of the show. It is the St. John Astronomy Club, but they brought some photography with them that we'll look over while they're here. And Katie, thank you again very much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back after the break. Stay with us.